Hey everyone, we're back for a pretty exciting video. Today we're going to be talking about and analyzing the little Shadowverse Worlds Beyond gameplay that we do have. So a month ago there was one of the final Shadowverse original tournaments, and at the end they had this segment where they showed some new cards. That's where they showed the new Cocytus card actually. And they had some sort of, I don't want to say celebrity, but sort of famous-ish people games, you know? So they have some of these people that were on the panel play a couple games of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. So we're going to kind of break down what we see here and sort of tie it back to those original videos I did of the card reviews, right? So if you want to go check out those card reviews first, I think that'd be a good idea. I do have all the cards here in another window. It's a little more zoomed in because I had to zoom in for the video. So we will sort of bring that up and talk about that when they come up, if there's anything I want to mention. But, you know, we're just going to watch, I think it's 3 games, and we see all of the pre-built deck classes. And yeah, we're just going to see what happens. So, first of all, interesting thing is we see now in your starting hand you start with 4 cards. I really like this because originally the way it worked was you have 3 cards in your mulligan, and then you can at the beginning of your turn you draw 1 if you go first, and at the beginning of your turn if you go second you draw 2. So now they're just kind of taking out the like random cards you always get, right? And you're just like, hey, you could just control all 4 cards. I really like that. And of course, the the mulligan system for Shadowverse is you select which cards you want to throw back, and then you get different cards. So let's get into it. So at the top is Portal, and at the bottom is Abyss. I'm not going to say Shadow. Abyss. And so we already see, as I said, I think Portal is sort of the strongest of these pre-built decks. And, you know, we'll see how that works. So, first of all, Nightmare, jeez, Abyss, what was that? That was them. That wasn't me. So we see Abyss, got 2 2-drops in hand. They have the Orthrus that we talked about. Let me back that up a little bit. So the Orthrus that we talked about, which was the Ward gain 2 shadows, right? And I was talking about how good this card is. I really like this card. And they also had that neutral 2-drop, which when you evolve, you pop something. So pretty good hand. And they have 2 Saris. Saris is a card I'm really interested to see how it plays out in game, because as we talked about, I'm a little skeptical of Saris, but you know, we'll see. And then at the top here, Portal's got, yeah, that little window tab is funny. Portal doesn't have an amazing hand, but they have that puppet theater room that I was talking about, which I really like. But they just drew into the 2-drop that gives you a puppet, so I believe that will be the play here. This is sort of meta. They kind of go to the panel here. This is sort of meta, so I don't want to get too into some of this stuff, but I do think the coin, I'm just calling it the coin, but the extra play point you get when you go second is going to be really important in the early game, in the early game. In my head, I would just always play it and play a 2-drop on 1. I feel like that's the best use of it if you go second, and I think that would have been a really good play here. If you have, let's see, did he have the Fildau in hand on 2? Let me see, because you can see he's kind of behind now, right? He had the Bell Ringer and the Puppet Theater Room. So, yeah, he drew into it on 1. So, in my head, I'd want to go coin the Fildau out, just have a 2-drop and establish that early game board presence. Because as you can see, he's kind of behind now. You know, they dropped this Orthrus, and now you're just always behind. He dropped the Bell Ringer, which I think was an interesting choice here. Again, these guys are not, you know, like masters or whatever, right? We're going to be seeing a lot of, you know, these first people's games. So, on 3, we dropped the little Bone Mancer, which is a really good card. That was the one that when it dies, you get 2 skeletons, which I really like that card, especially since we have the Death, what is it? Death Reaper? What is this card called? the Reaper's Death Slash in hand, which is the one drop where you pop one of your things, and then you can pop one of the opponent things. So I really like developing this board. I mean, look at this board, like, I was talking about, I think Shadow's gonna be, Shadow. I tried. Abyss is going to be really good, because look at this, like, early game board they have. They have the Orthrus, you already generate a bunch of shadows, and you have this pretty big threat behind the Orthrus, where it's going to be hard to get to because you have the ward up, but once you get to it and you kill it, you still have to deal with the skeletons. So that's sort of what I was talking about, how, when I say Shadow, I mean really Shadow. How Shadow has worked in the past, where it's these, like, really kind of awkward cards that are hard to deal with, but it's not all, like, the full value isn't on the field immediately, if that makes sense. So let's see how the Portal player navigates this. We see he drew into that really insane Bane puppet card that I was talking about, the 3-drop 2/2. I'm blanking on the name. I think it's like Medical Grade Assassin, right? Let me see. Yeah, Medical Grade Assassin. I really like that card. This would have been an amazing card to get if we had developed that Puppet Theater room a little earlier. Sorry, it's just Puppet Theater. I thought it was like Ballroom or something. The Puppet Theater a little early, where we get a puppet, and every turn we're getting more puppets, and we'd be able to go play down the Medical Grade Assassin, and then use one of our 0-mana puppets to run in and kill the ward. I really would have liked to see that, but instead we see the Puppet Lancer come down, who gives you an enhanced puppet, and then clear the ward, and the enhanced puppet is going to die when it passes back to turn. But we see the Abyss player drop Ceres, and this is where I really am interested to see how Ceres works. So back in the day, if this was normal Ceres, this board would be nuts for Shadow right now. Because you got that threat of Bone Mancer who's just going to keep poking you, and you're going to have to deal with it eventually. And then the Ceres would be able to clash and kill things, but of course we don't have that now, so we have the Bane. And I'm just really interested to see where this, her presence on the board, especially because he's so ahead. He hasn't really taken damage, so there's no real reason to, I mean, obviously you play it out anyway because it's a 4-drop and it's just a really good value card, but there is sort of this element of, like, she's not getting the full value that she would have if she had, like, the other effect, or if he was damaged, you know? So maybe Ceres is more like a comeback card, or like a from-behind card, where if you go second and you're losing that board tempo, that board presence, you can play Ceres down. It's going to be hard to clear because it has Bane, so you got to at least probably throw 2 things into it, and then you get to heal a little bit of damage. But yeah, as we see, he finally plays the Puppet Theater room, and he's going to come down, clear the Ceres. Interesting that he cleared the Bone Mancer. Typically, the strategy is you want to clear the Bone Mancer when you're at least able to clear one of the skeletons that comes out. Because you just turned 1 damage into 2 damage now, right? Because you killed the Bone Mancer, instead of the next turn passing over and you swing 1, you're going to be able to swing 2 and also divide that damage into different things. So, for example, now you're able to get the 1 damage in and also swing into this Puppet Lancer and clear the board. So I would have liked to see that Bone Mancer not be killed, or at least maybe make a different play so you can kill at least one of the skeletons. Because if you kill at least one of the skeletons, I think you're golden. So now on Shadow side, we have so we have kind of an awkward hand, right? So we have the Ceres. I just realized, let me try to scroll down a little bit. I just realized the hand is not, like, fully there. Maybe I need to, oh, this is kind of good. This is kind of good. Let me, like, sorry. Wait, what is this? You know, adjustments. Wait, why is, sorry about this. Okay. Hold on. Let me just make this slightly smaller. There we go. Okay. So now we can probably see most of the hand. I'm trying to find the perfect. There we go. Okay, that should be good. Yeah, we can see both the hands pretty well. The bottom hand is still going to be a little awkward to see just because the freaking YouTube red bar is going through it, and the fact that it's just a little cut off at the bottom. There we go. That's kind of good. Okay. All right. Let's get back to the game. So our hand right now as Abyss is Ceres, Fildau, Death/Reaper, Reaper's Death/, whatever, Orthrus, and then the Mukan, I believe that's his name, right? The Mukan. And what did he do again? Yeah, so he was, Necromancy 8, you auto-evolve, and then whenever you evolve, you summon a ghost, and the ghost gets Bane. So, he's at 5 shadows, which is shown by these little, this little skull at the bottom here. You see that little skull next to the deck icon. That's the shadows. And he's not at enough shadows to get to the Mukan. What we could do, which would be an interesting play, it would use a lot of resources. I don't even know if this would be a good play. But you could theoretically go swing a skeleton in and then Reaper's Death/. And then the Reaper's Death/ will give you the shadow from the Death/ and the shadow from the skeleton, and you're able to get 8 and then Mukan. I think that's a little bit of a waste since we can easily clear this board by just going swing 1 skeleton into the Lancer, and then 1 face, and then the Enhanced Puppet dies at the start of their turn. So I think we're probably going to end up seeing a Ceres get developed here, and then we're probably just going to kill the Lancer, swing face, and then pass. So yeah, that's what we're going to see. We're also able to finally heal that damage up and get that value from the Ceres, which I really like. So now, the Portal player actually drew Cocytus, which is pretty interesting. I don't know what card that replaced in the pre-built, but that's pretty interesting. We see that he has the Cavalier, and the Cavalier is something like you evolve and then you summon another one. If you super evolve, you summon 2. But instead, we of course see the really strong medical grade puppet or medical grade assassin. What a bizarre name. I don't know why they named it that, but you know, the Bane puppet guy, you know. And then we play another Bell Ringer. Okay. So now we're in an interesting spot. Like I talked about the Ceres. The Ceres is a little weak just because it's only a 1/4 and there's so much Bane and hard removal going around, right? I think that she's just a little bit on the weak side because now we go into this turn and it's like not amazing for us as Abyss, right? Because we have the Orthrus, we can probably clear something. We can probably clear something. We have the Mino now. We top deck the Mino, who is the 2-drop that gains Bane and Rush if you enhance it by 4, so you pay 4. And then on death, it gives you the Skeleton. We also have the Fildau. But our hand is kind of bricked up on these Reaper's Death/ that we haven't had a good opportunity to use. And they're hiding behind the Bell Ringer, so we have to kill the Bell Ringer first before we even think about trying to kill this Medical Grade Assassin that we really need to kill because as long as he sticks on the board, he's going to be getting a ton of value, and we know he already has 2 puppets in hand. So, in my head, we have the Evo points, right? I'd probably want to try to use a Fildau Evo point here. So drop Fildau Evo, kill the Medical Grade Assassin, swing into the Bell Ringer, and then we probably just drop the Mukan because he's going to auto-evolve now. There is a thought as well to not dropping the Mukan, just to save our shadows for if we draw into the Cerberus, because we need a lot of shadows for Cerberus. And I think that it's still the value of having a 5/5 on the board is still there for just being like, hey, you know, if I draw Cerberus, cool, we'll figure it out then. But right now I need to develop the board and make sure I can get there, right? Because right now we're kind of behind. And it's interesting how fast that switched, right? He was really far ahead, and then he dropped the Ceres, and it got killed with 1 card. So we should definitely keep that in mind when we talk about and think about Ceres. I'm down on Ceres right now, is what I'll say. I think she's not that amazing of a card. So yeah, here comes Mino. So we're gonna swing into the Bellringer. That's interesting. And I guess we're gonna play. Okay, we're gonna play a Death Slash. Get the Death Slash out of our hand, just to be, it's breaking us up a lot. And I also kind of like this play because now we have the option. We have the 0-mana skeleton, so we can just hard go skeleton, Reaper's Death Slash, kill anything for 1 mana next turn. Especially if we draw into a 6-drop, like, they have the, what's his name? The Juggler, yeah, we have, like, the Juggler, so we can go, like, play a Juggler, res Ceres, something like that if we top deck it. So yeah, I do actually really like that play. So then we see the Mecha Cavalier come down, and he's gonna evolve into a 7/7 and summon 2. This is really scary for Shadow now, so what we're gonna have to do is we can clear this, though, especially with the Mukan now. So what we can do is we can go, like the play I was talking about, where we go Skeleton, Reaper's Death Slash, and then Mukan's going to auto-evolve and give us a Bane Skeleton, and we're going to be able to go swing the Ghost that has Bane into something, Reaper's Death Slash our Skeleton and kill something else, and then we still have filled out with an Evil Point, be able to clear that last thing, or, optionally, we could just swing the Mukan in. I do kind of like doing this play and being able to play the Orthrus out, so that we have those shadows for Cerberus when she comes out now. So now we're at 6 shadows, and if we draw her, we're looking really good. But as we see, like, this is what I was talking about. Look at the hand. Look at the resources, right? In the early game of this meta, of Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, I mean, resources are going to be such a valuable thing, right? And we saw this with the beginning of Shadowverse Evolve, where the first set, Dragon was so strong because it had so many resource options and cards that did either multiple things or things very, very well. And as we can see, Shadow, Abyss, we're sitting here and it's like, we're okay, but I only have 2 cards in hand, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 8 cards in hand. Some of those we know are puppets, but with cards like Medical Grade Assassin and the Orcus, those become real cards, right? So it's just it's that change in resources that I think makes puppets really strong, or Portal really strong, that we've seen so far. So let's just keep that in mind as we see this game progressing. And you see Portal has just so many options this turn. Like, they are easily going to be able to clear this board, and we're, as Abyss, looking at a 2-card hand. It's a pretty good 2-card hand. It's 2 of our best cards, right? It's Filled Out and Mukan. But if we do get hit with, say like this turn we got hit with a Coin Orcus, there's not much we could do with a hand like this. While they're just sitting there, keep getting resources. They're only ever using 1 to 2 actual cards per turn, because every one of their cards generates another thing. So something to keep in mind is that, like, that difference in decks where you're able to have decks where just have a ton of cards in hand, and then other decks not able to. So yeah, it's interesting because what really went wrong for Abyss this game was the double Ceres, like, just not impacting the game enough. Honestly, if the Ceres was literally just a fully statted whatever 4/4, 4/5, 3/4, whatever a 4-drop would be, that would be better, because we're able to swing more damage, and we only ever got the heal once. So maybe it was smarter, or it was smarter of us to save the Ceres for our super evos. But even then, like, looking at this situation, like, they got the Medical Grade Assassin in hand, they got 50,000 puppets, and they'd easily be able to clear our Ceres. So I don't know. Yeah, I was really liking what Abyss was able to do early on here, but now we just see the difference in resources. Just, what do you even do now, So they just go play the Graveyard and pass. Kind of interesting. You don't want to just, you have this, like, pretty good combo hand with like Filled Out and Mukan, where you're going to be able to clear a lot of boards, and their board isn't that threatening. So I do kind of like just taking it slow, just going, hey, here's my thing. I just need to draw Cerberus and we can get back in the game. But as we can see, Portal ended up drawing the Orcus, which is really, really rough. So now we're looking at a board, or a hand, where we have our, like, board kill combo with Mukan and Filled Out, but they just have so many threats. They have the Orcus and the Cocytus, and I think this game's kind of out of reach now, especially with the health being as it is. This is another thing to notice. Another thing to notice, the health. The health change is you're not able to really get a lot of damage in this early meta that we're in, right? Because we don't have a lot of cards that are just like, play this, clear the board. You know, because back in the day in modern Shadowverse Digital, so many cards are just like, play this, clear the board, and the board almost doesn't matter, so you're able to just swing face. But in this era, in this new era we're going into, we're really here we go. Okay, we drew the Cerberus. Now this is interesting. Let's pause it here. I want to finish my thought that I was just saying. That I forgot the train. I lost my train of thought on the board. The board, yes. And being able to, you just have to clear boards, because if your board gets smaller than theirs, they just have such an advantage that they can go, okay, swing, swing, and then get like extra 2 damage face, and their board just always stays strong. So, yeah. But now we drew the Cerberus. So now we're kind of cooking. This is interesting. So, Cerberus, of course, we remember, is going to come down. She's going to draw or summon the Coco and the Mimi, which were these rushes, 2-1 and 1-2 rushes. And we're going to also be able to Super Evolve and reanimate 1 and 2. So we're going to be able to get these back. I would say we want to swing the damage one in first, so we can resummon 2 of them. And then, yeah, we're probably going to be able to clear this board, right? So we can go... yeah, I think we're going to be able to clear. Let's see how she does this. And what does the amulet do again? You can tap and get 2 ghosts. Okay, so we could see something. Yeah, okay, this is what we're going to see. So we're going to try to push some damage here. We have an opportunity now. So we're going to tap the amulet, get 2 ghosts, and then we're going to play Cerberus, buff our board, and now we're going to be able to go... We're going to push a lot of damage here, actually. This is actually pretty crazy. We're going to be able to go... well, see, now that's something I would have done differently. So they swung both of their things in and then evolved. If you just swing 1 in, you're guaranteed to reanimate that specific 1 if that's your only 1 drop, right? So we only swing the damage 1 in. We're going to be able to get 2 damage ones back and push, hopefully, 4 extra damage. On top of the, so we did 6, so 12 damage this turn, which is kind of a lot, actually. That's actually pretty crazy. So Super Evolved Cerberus is going to come out. She's going to swing into the Orcus, and we're going to be able to clear this 2-1, and then we're going to go 6 face, and we're putting them to 7 already, which is pretty crazy. Unfortunately, Medical Grade Assassin is really, really nuts. So we're going to be able to just go play Medical Grade Assassin, play a puppet, kill the Cerberus, and then we're kind of back to square one. But then what do we do after that as Portal? Another thing we could do is we are at 9 plus our free Evo, or our coin. So we could go play, yeah, this is what they're going to do. They're going to play Cocytus, Super Evolve. Oh, she just fell out of the chair. Super Evolve, free swing into the Cerberus, and then we're going to basically hope they don't have another Cerberus. Actually, even then, it still would be fine, right? Is there any, like, 2-drop that gets us a ghost? Okay, Lesser Mummy. This would be so perfect. Actually, wait, no, this wouldn't work because you don't have enough. Oh, no, you do have enough shadows. So, technically, Portal could be dead here to Lesser Mummy, Cerberus, buff the Lesser Mummy, and then swing. Wait, no. Yes, because you have a Super Evolve. Swing the Mimi in, and then Super Evolve the Lesser Mummy, and then that's 7 exactly. That'd be funny, but that's not gonna happen. Probably. Let me just take a drink of water. Okay. So we have the series, our third series. We have a super evolve, so we can super evolve the series. Does she get the barrier on Evo? No, she doesn't. You have to pass the turn. I think this card's horrendous now. Oh my gosh. Why'd they make this card so bad? This is not good. And then also we could have just played the Fildao Evo, kill that, and then played like a Mukan. Actually, we could have gone... Okay, so no, so that was a misplay. So we should have gone Mukan, get our Ghost, and then Super Evolve the Ceres. So then what we could have is the 4/7 Ceres with Barrier, and then have the Mukan in the back, and then if they don't answer anything, we can just clear the board, right? So, would have liked to see that. I would have liked to see that. So here comes Liam. Liam gives everything like ward, and if they die, deal 2 damage, right, I think? And now the game's pretty much over because they have this giant big ward board, and we have this 11/11 that we can deal with the Fildao, Mukan that we've just had in our hand forever, but it's probably not going to matter. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit here. So yeah, we see the Mukan come down, we see the Fildao come down, clear the board, we're at 14, and then we just top deck, we have the other Cocytus card, and then we top deck to like 1 mana 13/13, which is pretty funny. So this is where... So games like this is where I think Cocytus could be really good. Where, like in a portal deck like this where it's like basically fully control, and then it's just this late game game ender for these really grindy games that this game kind of turned into. And we see how the only reason we even really had a chance to win that game, right, was how good our early game was from Abyss. If we did not have a good early game like we did, we would have died way quicker, you know? So things to pay attention to. I'm about to sneeze. I don't know why. Sorry. Jeez, I'm being attacked by the sneeze bug. So things we should take from this game, right? The early game Abyss of the, like, let's see if we can rewind a little bit. You know, where we saw the Orthrus into the little Bone Mancer was really strong. The Ceres ended up being really weak and actually kind of hurt our chances to win here. Because even if we drop just a fully statted... Honestly, if on this board we drop our 2/2 drops, our Orthrus and our Fildao, we're probably in a better spot, which is crazy. So, yeah. And then Portal just able to drop these crazy threats that we have to remove immediately because... you know, of like the, we see like the medical grade assassin. I keep forgetting his name. And then also like the Mecha Cavalier that's really hard to deal with. So, yeah. Next game. Let's go to the next game. Next game is Shadow versus Dragon. I said Shadow. Abyss versus Dragon. So since we kind of covered Abyss, we're going to kind of, cover, Dragon now. So yeah, so let's focus on Dragon. So Dragon, of course, has the Bell Ringer, the Nanny, the Fildao, and the Dragon Sign, or the Oracle, again. And I said, and actually, I think it's a kind of hot take, I guess, but I think Dragon is easily the worst, pre-built here that we have. You'll kind of see the weaknesses in this game. So let's just fast forward. So they have the Cocytus, and then their hand is... I realize one reason why it's kind of hard to see the hand is in the original game, you could click the hand and it'd like show up in like the middle of your screen. Or not the bottom middle of your screen. But we see our hand for Dragon, and it's really good, actually. We have the... we have 2/2 drops, the 4-drop that pops something, the Ramp card, and we have the Olivia, which we did not see at all last game. which, you know, of course, I was saying is the best card in the game right now. So let's see how this plays out. They're going to end up playing down the Dragon Newt to deal 1 damage to, or the Flame Newt to deal 1 damage to the Orthrus. And then, so now we're in a weird spot where we need to decide, do we want to ramp, or do we want to play a Nanny to really, like, control the board and be able to clear these 2/1s effectively next turn, because the Little Dragon Nanny, of course, summons two 1/1s, right? So instead, we're going to ramp and we're going to swing. I think that's an okay decision because we have so much late game in our hand. We have 2 Cocytus and an Olivia. And we drew into the Garyu. So now we have so much late game, but we got to get there, right? So how do we get there? We have the 4-drop to clear anything. So we probably are going to want to play the 4-drop, clear the Mino. Again, like I talked about, we do not want to clear the Bone Mancer unless we have another way to kill the skeleton, because we're just turning 1 damage into 2, right? So we're probably going to want to play that. And then we're in a little bit of a bind, because we have no 6-drop or really any playable card. Well, now this is interesting. This is an interesting play. I'm interested to see that happen, that come down, instead of the 4-drop. Though this could be a play, and in your mind you're thinking, well, I want to keep my hard removal for the next play, which makes sense. The Ceres is going to come down. But again, we kind of talked about the Ceres, you know, so we'll see how much impact that has. Next turn, we draw into the 3-mana draw 2 cards, and if we would have played the 4-drop last turn, we would have been able to play this and the Nanny here. But of course, you know, not able to. Another thing to keep in mind is we do not have a play with Olivia next turn now that we use the 2-drop. So I really don't love that play last turn. I really would have loved to see the 4-drop come down, clear something. We take a little bit less damage because they have to evolve the other thing. And we just deal with the Ceres somehow, right? You know? So yeah, so let's see. So I think this turn's got to just be, yeah, kill the 4/3. Evo, I like the Evo, clear the Ceres. I kind of like this. Still a little awkward. And then we do the mistake where we kill the, and look, they're kind of laughing. They kill the Bone Mancer when we can't clear another skeleton. This is going to be very important for this early game, okay, guys? Do not kill the Bone Mancer if you can't kill a skeleton after, okay? We gotta instill that into people. So now it's looking rough. We have Olivia with no 2-drop. We can gamble and try to draw 2-drop off the Olivia because it draws 2 cards, heals you 2, and gives you 2 play points back. So that would be my choice of play here, and just gamble. But other than that, it's like, yeah, you're kind of seeing the weaknesses of Dragon, right? Because even if we played it out like I would have wanted to see it played out, we still are gambling off our draws, right? Like, yes, if we draw into a 2-drop, we're looking pretty good. Even then, the Ceres with Bane is kind of, you know, staring at us, right? But we really need that second ramp. If we saw a second ramp here, we would have been golden. Of course, we don't draw into a 2-drop, and the game's pretty much over now. Because if we get a second ramp, this turn would have been like a Garyu. And then the next turn, we have that really crazy Twilight Dragon, which is very strong singular card. I was talking about how I think that if Dragon is good, it is going to be because of that Twilight Dragon card. Really like that. So, I think this is pretty much just over for Dragon. They're going to just, yeah, Super Evolve, swing a bunch. Now we're at 8. We can play the Garyu down. And we're going to be able to summon like a... instead, we don't play the Garyu down. We play the... what's her name? Golden Note something. This will kill 2 things, right? That's pretty good. But I don't think it matters because Cerberus is coming down, going to buff the board, swing the Mimi in, or the Coco, and then deal, 3 damage. So that was the end of that game. Dragon, of course, I don't know. I don't know. I think, again, like, even if we made the plays that I wanted to make there, I don't think it would have ended up better. So let's go into the next game, the last game we have, Portal versus Dragon. So here I definitely want to try to take a closer look at Portal, right, on this game, because we took a closer look at both the other decks. So let's watch what Portal's doing this game. So we see a 2-drop, the crazy medical grade assassin, and then we have a bunch of late game stuff. So I think our goal, which is going to be a hard goal because it's Dragon and they have such good late game and ramp potential, but our goal is going to be try to get to the late game to stabilize with our Orcus, our Noahs, and of course our Cocytus to put an end to the game, basically. So we're going to see the field outcome down, just a tempo 2-drop. We have the medical grade assassin. This is interesting because they decide to play out the theater, the puppet theater, and just develop that, kill the bell ringer, and we get 2 puppets because our medical grade assassin, we have no puppets to use it with because he gives you an enhanced puppet, which is the 1-drop, right? So now we have board presence, we have our resource generator in the puppet theater room, and then the nanny comes down. The interesting thing with the nanny is the dragon is intimidate, so we can't swing into it, which is hard for us to deal with as Portal, because as we see, a lot of our removal is combat based. But we have the field out, that's right. Never mind. We have the field out, they can just evolve and clear it. So we're just looking extremely strong here. We have a really good board. We have the 4/4. We have insane amount of resources in our hand. Enough resources to take us to our Noah turn, which is where we want to be at. We see the 3rd bell ringer come down, which is really funny. Wait, how much mana was he at? I guess he was at 6. So this turn for Dragon, I know I said I was going to be focusing on Portal, but for Dragon, you can go the Olivia 2-drop play, which is going to be interesting to see if that helps him come back. But instead, we end up seeing the Noah come down. So Noah's interesting because he comes down, gives you 3 puppets, and buffs all the puppets by 1 attack. So what he did, which is really smart and something to keep in mind, is he played some of his hand out first, so that he doesn't waste those free puppets he gets, right? So now, he still has the full hand, and you can just clear a good amount of this board. There's even an option to Evo this Noah and swing into the 2/2. I would say you don't need to do that because you're so far ahead, and we're living in a universe where Evo points are very, 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 very valuable, and you're not going to be able to get them back easily. And you know you're playing against Dragon, which is a very late game focused deck. So there's no reason to, like, tempo kill this 2/2 that you're going to be able to clear anyway next turn. So I really like that play from Portal. So now as Dragon, we did not end up doing the Olivia 2-drop play, which would have definitely swung the game in our favor, I would say. But I think their plan right now is to ramp into Cocytus. You know, pretty good plan. Cocytus is a pretty good card, it seems, right now. But if we had a 7/7 to 5/5 here, it would make this turn really hard for Portal, theoretically, but they have the craziest card in the game right now. They have double medical grade assassin, so it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anything Dragon does. Yeah, medical grade assassin is looking very strong right now. So now we're at 9 play points. Now maybe we see the Olivia into... so one thing we can do is Olivia into the little dragon nanny and Evo the Intimidate dragon. And that's going to stick, honestly, almost forever. Like, that would be actually a very good play here. We could even play out... but that's probably what I would do here, is Olivia... we do have a full hand size, so something will get burned. Well, you can play the nanny first, right? So you can play nanny, Olivia, Evo the Intimidate thing, and we just have this 4/4 that's almost unkillable. I think this is what's going to happen. Let's see. Yes, okay. Okay, this is interesting. I want to see how good this is, right? Because we see this, and now we can also go play the slice. What is it called? The slicer? What is it called? On the oh no, they evoed the main body. They evoed the main body. Like, imagine if we just had this 4/4 that's almost unkillable from Puppet. Right? You know, we're able to just sit here, swing 4 every turn. Puts them on kind of like a 5-turn clock. Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to see that. We'll see what happens. Let's keep in mind, let's see if this 1/1 ever dies. Right? Because it seems really hard to clear from Puppet's side. So, Orca's gonna come down. We're gonna do our full Orca's thing. We're gonna have, does she give them Bane? Wait, sorry, how do these things have Bane? Hold on. Does Orcus give them Bane? I thought that was... She does. Bro, Puppet, what is going on? Portal, huh? What? Portal seems nuts to me. I don't know. Portal seems really, really strong. Obviously, we don't, we haven't seen, Sword in action yet, right? But Sword, of course, is something. So here... Oh, we don't have Twilight Dragon. What is that 2/10 drop? Oh, Genesis. That's Genesis. Okay. So we're going to drop Cocytus. I don't believe that was the best play. I don't know what would have been the best play. Let me see. So you have 2 of the breath. So you go like double breath. Probably go like Olivia. Like, what would I do? So I'd probably go like Olivia. See what I draw. Or at least play a breath Olivia. We super evolve our Olivia. Hopefully we draw into... What would be amazing is our... what's the name of it? The fledgling Dragon Slayer. We draw into our fledgling Dragon Slayer, clear a big thing, but instead we're just kind of dead. So yeah, really interesting games. I think they kind of peek into what we're gonna be seeing here soon for Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this gameplay. Kind of a long video. The first game I really wanted to go in depth. I think that was the game that we saw the most interesting stuff, because we saw that sort of reversal happen where, you know, Abyss was really far ahead, and then all of a sudden, whoop, you know, we're back to Portal just taking over because of their resource generation. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what class you guys are excited for. And yeah, next videos I think are going to be really fun. I'm basically going to be breaking down every class and talking about pretty in-depth what the class is about, types of cards and types of decks we've seen from this class in history, or in the history of the game, so that you guys, if you're newer or you're coming back to the game after a really long time, are able to like pick a class and are able to, you know, find a class that really gels with you. And yeah, so that'll be the next video series, and hopefully that takes us into some more news, because we've been kind of dry on the news. But you know, we're less than a month away, and I'm really excited. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.